You've been told that the Bible contains all of history, that nothing was lost, that everything you needed to know about the origins of humanity had already been revealed. But what if that's not true? What if an entire book, once revered by ancient prophets, was then hidden, suppressed, and eradicated from the canon? A book so powerful that they feared what would happen if humanity took it, because within its pages lies a secret that could remove cosmic darkness, revealing who you truly are and your real place in the universe. This is the Book of Enoch, hidden for centuries, concealed beneath layers of secrecy and silence, and within its pages lies a vision so strange, so unexpected, that even today most churches refuse to speak its name. It tells the story of the Watchers, celestial beings who came from the sky, bringing with them the ancient wisdom of the cosmos, knowledge so profound that it reshaped the destiny of humanity. Knowledge of the stars, knowledge of the earth, knowledge of power and destruction. Why was this prophecy eradicated? Why were these secrets hidden? And who or what doesn't want you to know the truth? Humanity was never meant to hear this story. It carries a truth so disruptive, so broken, that it's afraid to shatter the carefully crafted illusion we've all lived with for so long. But deep down, you always know there's more to this reality than we've been told. You feel it in the unexpected questions, in the lost pages of history, in the contradictions that no one can explain. And when you look at the endless night sky, something inside you screams, there's more. In this video, we'll uncover the mystery of Enoch's forbidden vision. Let's discover who the Watchers really were, what they gave to humanity, and why those in power tried to eradicate their story from history itself. And, along the way, we'll trace the hidden writings between the prophecy of Enoch and an ancient war beyond the veil, a war for your conscience, your freedom, and your very soul. Because once you see what Enoch saw and how it mirrors ancient Gnostic accounts, you'll understand why they tried so hard to keep it from you. The story begins thousands of years before the birth of Christ, long before the rise of Christianity, long before the Bible, as we know it even existed. Around 300 BC, ancient writers began recording visions unlike anything the world had ever seen before. These scriptures, later known as the Book of Enoch, were passed down among mystics, princes, and secretive sects throughout Judea and beyond. For centuries, the text was revered by ancient Jewish and Christian communities. Even the New Testament refers to Enoch's visions, hinting at mysteries that once formed entire belief systems. But something happened. In the 4th century, the Book of Enoch was declared so dangerous. Calmly, deliberately, it was removed from the biblical canon. And unless you were part of a secret Ethiopian sect that guarded its pages, you would never read its words again. But why? What secret was so unsatisfied, so threatening, that it had to be eradicated from history? Within its passages lies a story of scientific beings, the observers who descended to Earth, crossing boundaries that were never too intense to be broken. They revealed wisdom reserved for the divine, such as reading the hidden patterns of the stars, forging weapons from the earth and commanding the elements, and even shaping desire itself, teaching the human arts that had crossed the line between creation and corruption. And humanity was forever changed. But with forbidden knowledge comes consequence. The Book of Enoch describes how chaos began to spread across the earth, violence, corruption, and the birth of beings unlike anything the world had ever seen. These were the Nephilim, giants of immense size, strength, and hunger, born from unions between masters and human women. They depleted the earth's resources, consumed animals, and finally transformed into themselves, invading creation in imbalance and bloodshed. This is not just a myth. This was a cosmic rebellion, a war between realms over knowledge, power, and control. And perhaps that is precisely why this book was hidden. Because if humanity understood who the guardians were, if we knew what they gave us, and if we understood the true nature of the forces that influence our reality, the foundations of religion, authority, and control would crumble overnight. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The Gnostics, ancient mystics and seekers of hidden wisdom, spoke of archons, beings who ruled unknown realms, manipulating human perception and trapping souls within an illusory world. 2 traditions, 2 names, a recurring leader, and one theme. Were the guardians and the 2 faces of the archons the same hidden powers? Or were they rival factions in an even deeper cosmic struggle? One offering forbidden knowledge, the other seeking to keep us enslaved in ignorance. Perhaps the truth isn't so black and white, but hidden in shades of red. What if humanity was given this knowledge too early, long before we were ready to understand it or control the forces with which it would awaken? What if the Nephilim knew this all along? That knowledge was never meant to empower us, but to deceive us, guiding humanity, step by step, to build their own prison stone by stone, until the day they return to reclaim what they always considered their property. The texts don't give us easy answers, and perhaps that's why, because once we start connecting the dots, we realize something unexpected. This isn't just about an ancient book. It's about your reality and the false illusion constructed to deceive your mind and shape how you see the world. And as we delve deeper, you'll begin to realize this isn't just a story about celestial beings, ancient prophets, or even Enoch. It's a story about you, your origins, your purpose, and the hidden forces shaping the reality you live in now. Enoch was not just a prophet. He was not just a writer. He was a witness. According to ancient texts, Enoch was chosen to see things that no human was ever destined to see. Taken beyond the ground of the physical world, he was guided to the realms where the laws of nature change and the boundaries between heaven and earth dissolve. In his visions, Enoch encountered beings of immense power, the guardians. These were not the gentle angels of Sunday sermons. The guardians were sentinels, guardians of the highest realms, signed with the observation of humanity, but forbidden to interfere. But they broke the law. The texts describe how a group of 200 guardians, led by a figure named Shemihaza, descended to earth. They did not come as messengers but as rebels, and what they gave to humanity changed the course of history forever. But here's the question few have bothered to ask themselves. Were these the same fallen angels who spoke in older scriptures? Was this the true story behind Lucifer's rebellion? A pure, unfiltered reckoning that was later rewritten, cursed, and hidden. They taught us the secrets that the heavens tried to keep hidden. The mapping of the stars and celestial cycles, the forging of weapons and the alchemy of metals, the arts of magic, enchantments, and sorcery, cosmic knowledge that unlocked humanity's hidden potential. But what humanity believed they owned, they never truly owned. It was like placing fire in a child's hands. Powerful, dangerous, and far beyond our comprehension. This was not merely knowledge. This was initiation, one that came at a terrible cost. Along with wisdom came chaos. With weapons came war. With forbidden rituals came corruption. And with the interbirth, between observers and humans, came the birth of the Nephilim. Beings of enormous size, strength, and appetite, the scriptures of Enoch describe these hybrid births as destructive forces that devoured the earth, depleted its resources, and brought creation into imbalance. But this is where the mystery deepens. Who were these observers really? Were they divine rebels, or something entirely more? The Book of Enoch portrays them as angels, but Gnostic traditions add another layer. They speak of the archons, the shadowy rulers of this material realm, who distort perception, manipulate pensions, and keep humanity trapped in a false reality. Different names, same masters. Could the observers be early descriptions of archon forces? Entities outside human consciousness that tempt us with knowledge, but at a hidden cost. Herein lies the paradox. The observers awakened humanity, but they may also have enslaved us, because forbidden knowledge can be a double-edged sword. Power without wisdom creates chaos, and secrets revealed before their time can destroy entire worlds. That is why the Gnostics hide their teachings within symbols and codes. That is why Jesus spoke in parables, revealing the truth only to those ready to understand. And that is why so many ancient traditions guarded their wisdom, knowing that in the wrong hands, divine knowledge can become a weapon. And this may explain why the Book of Enoch was misinterpreted by mainstream religion. Those in power feared what these revelations might unleash. But today, understanding what happened in those ancient times is not just history. It is the key to understanding who we are, what has been hidden from us, and why humanity was never destined to know these secrets so soon. Because if humanity truly understood that powerful beings once walked among us, if we understood that our thoughts, desires, and even our civilizations may have been shaped by forces we cannot see, then everything we believe in about God, creation, and control would instantly crumble. But Enoch's visions didn't end there, because after the rebellion of the Watchers, something even stranger was revealed. The text describes how Enoch was taken to the heavens, guided beyond the realms of reality, through strange luminous gates and realms. And there he was shown a prophecy, a vision of judgment, a warning about the Watchers, the Nephilim, and the fate of humanity itself. A prophecy so powerful, so unsettling, that even more than 2,000 years later, the world is still not ready to face it. Enoch's journey did not end with the rebellion of the Watchers. It was only the beginning. The texts describe how Enoch was taken beyond the borders of Earth, into the hidden architecture of the cosmos itself, through enormous crystal doorways, behind oceans of stars, to realms where time intertwines and light stretches to infinity. And there, Enoch was shown something that few of the dead could comprehend. A prophecy, a revelation about the Watchers, about humanity, and about the ultimate destiny of this reality. In his vision, Enoch saw the Watchers before a great and luminous throne. Above them an infinite, radiant presence beyond all words, known only as the Ancient of Days. The observers begged for forgiveness. They pleaded for their place to be restored. But the judgment was absolute. Their rebellion had disrupted the balance of creation. Their forbidden masters had accelerated humanity's descent into chaos. And their descendant, the Nephilim, had become a plague upon the earth. The prophecy revealed their judgment. The observers were cast into darkness in the regions beneath the earth, prisoners until the final judgment. The Nephilim wiped themselves from the face of the earth in a cataclysm, unlike anything humanity had ever seen. But Enoch's vision didn't stop there, because that wasn't just then. That was now. Enoch was shown cycles, major turning points in human history, where these hidden forces would rise again, not as angels descending from the heavens, but as laughter in the mind, impulses in the heart, and control systems made in the very formula of society. And this is where the Gnostic parallels become impossible to ignore. The Gnostics warned of archons, beings who feed on fear, ignorance, and obedience. They described a false reality, constructed like a labyrinth, where humanity is kept distracted, divided and blind to its true power. Whether you call them Watchers or archons, one thing is becoming apparent. They have been influencing humanity since the beginning of time. But here's the catch. The Watchers didn't just give us forbidden knowledge. They gave us a choice, because knowledge in itself is neutral. It's a tool. It can be used to awaken or to teach. The real question is who guides it, and who benefits when you remain asleep. If reality was shaped by hidden forces from the beginning, the stories you were taught about God, angels, and creation were carefully edited. And if books like the Enoch were removed because they revealed too much, then what else are we not being told? What else is hidden within centuries of silence? That is the deepest reason why the Enoch book still matters today. Because it's not just an ancient text, it's a map, a coded assessment of control mechanisms that repeat themselves from time to time until humanity chooses to see through the illusion. And perhaps that's why you're here now. Not by chance, but because something inside you remembers. Something deep within you knows that what the Enoch saw wasn't just a prophecy for his time. It is a prophecy for our time. Understanding the Enoch's vision is not enough. You have to apply it to your life, your mind, and your consciousness. If you want to break free from the systems that observers set in motion thousands of years ago, the Enoch story is not just about the past. It's about now. It's about you. Because if the observers gave humanity forbidden knowledge, if the ancient texts were eradicated to keep you from knowing the truth, and if forces beyond your perception are still shaping how you think, feel, and believe, then the real question becomes, how do you break free? And here is the secret they never wanted you to know. It doesn't start with fighting the systems out there. It starts with awakening the system within, your mind, your consciousness, your perception. The Gnostics warned of beings, dark rulers of this realm who feed on unconsciousness, beings that live when you live on autopilot, when you accept every thought as your own, when you never pause to ask who benefits when I believe this, who planted this fear within me, who wins when I sleep. This is where the real initiation begins, because Enoch's prophecy wasn't just about the fall of the Watchers. It was a warning to humanity. Learn to see the forces shaping your reality, or rather, be controlled by them. Awakening begins with a single change, becoming aware of the stories you've been told, the authorities you've been taught to trust, and the beliefs you've accepted about God, life, and even yourself. Not to reject them immediately, but to question them deeply, to pull the threads, to see what unfolds. Because true prophecy isn't built of stone and iron. It's built in the mind, and the key to escaping it is remembering who you truly are. This isn't about ancient angels and forbidden knowledge. This is about waking up from the illusions that have shaped humanity for thousands of years. And if you've made it this far, you already feel it. Something inside you is remembering. You were never meant to stay asleep. If you want to delve deeper into this journey, I've made available a free book called Escaping Illusion, a Gnostic Guide to Reality. Explore hidden teachings and techniques to help you reclaim your conscience and free yourself from the forces that shape your life. The link is in the description below. The story of Enoch is more than just an ancient manuscript. It is a mirror, a map, a warning, because hidden within its pages lies a truth that humanity should not encounter, a truth about where we came from, who guides us, and why so much of our history has been eradicated. The observers gave humanity knowledge that ignited a fire in the minds of our species. But that same fire threatened to shatter the very control systems that keep humanity docile and obedient. And so the book was hidden. The hidden prophecy. The story was silenced. But here's the thing about the truth. You can hide it. You can suppress it. You can hide it for thousands of years. But eventually she always returns. Remember that. The true power of Enoch's vision does not lie in the angels, the Watchers, or the Nephilim. It's in what awakens within you, because the forces trying to control humanity haven't disappeared. They've simply changed form. Today they don't descend from the clouds. They hide in systems, screens, and stories designed to keep you asleep. But you wake up, and once you see the models, once you question the narratives, once you reclaim their attention, the illusion begins to crumble. Then the choice, as always, is yours. Remain within the story they gave you, or go beyond that, to the reality they never wanted you to encounter. If this video resonated with you, and you want to continue unlocking these hidden truths, remember to subscribe to Gnostic. Don't forget to like and share your thoughts in the comments. The Book of Enoch is just the first gateway. What lies beyond may change everything you thought you knew about reality, your life, and even your soul. But this is only the beginning. And the deeper we go, the more impossible it becomes to go back. The more impossible it becomes